Hey, what's happening, y'all? Just waiting to get everything finished up here. I had to go on a very last minute beer run, so my apologies for being a little bit late here, but we getting it in. Thanks for coming, everyone. This is Welcome to the Neighborhood, and I'm rapfredrogers. You know, my goal is to help artists grow and connect, and if any of you guys are listening along, I'll ask you to leave your 1 to 5 star rating as we go along. That's what we've done in the past. 5 stars means you would actually add this to a playlist or play it for a friend, perhaps download it. And as a quick disclaimer, I got around 120 submissions this round, so a lot more than I was expecting, to be honest. And there were easily about 20 or so submissions good enough to be on here that I just won't be able to get to, so I'm really sorry about that. It's the first time I've had to really not get to really quality stuff. But we'll have another round coming up. And one of the biggest reasons why was for some of those songs that were on the bubble were great loops, but little other song structure. So even if you have a great loop, with how saturated the beat market is, that's often just kind of not enough. So you'll see what I mean as we continue along here. See if we got anyone else checking in. Cool. So, let's see. My internet connection has been a little not amazing. So I'm just making sure everything sounds good. If you can hear me in the chat, go ahead and drop a message or something, because I don't want to miss nobody. But either way, we'll just get into it. And this first one is by Destination TOMO. So here we go. Let's get it cracking.
This kind of an experience is quite intense.
It's a different kind of beat. See what you guys think. This is a warm up. See how we feel about this. So I don't think it changes too much more than that. Who could you hear on that? I think we got in the chat INVZKID saying that's some creeping shit. I agree. That's definitely the vibe I get. Shout out to everyone who's here. Hopefully more will stop by as we go along here. That's usually the case. Shout out to Jeliii as always. Welcome to the neighborhood, man. Shout out to INVZKID. Welcome to the neighborhood. So yeah, one of the games we'll play, since this is a little bit of a different format than normal, is, does this feel like you can put a finger on a certain artist who could rap over this? Some of these, I think you'll get strong vibes and reminders, and others not so much. So, also, for any of the producers on here, once we get to your track, feel free to drop a link to your socials when your song comes up. And also let us know for any of these tracks if you're down to collaborate. There's a lot of good collaborative efforts going on right now, so it's always good to know if any of the producers on here are looking to complete these amazing beats with some vocals. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you just want to keep it as an instrumental, so it depends. But if you're here, let us know. That'll be an ongoing question as well. And that can just help any of the rappers here who enjoy what you're playing start thinking about maybe ways to complete your track. So, yeah. Could be a great song. Yeah, okay, so could this be, if it was completed, because this is kind of a stripped down, kind of simplistic beat, could this be an amazing song becomes the question. You know, it is such a blank slate. It still has so much negative space in it, which I think is a positive. And that can go in a bunch of different directions when you have kind of a lot of negative space and more of a blank slate type beat. So I think that's quite interesting. We're going to go through the different kind of categories here. It'll be a little different since this show is tailored towards all beats. Normally we do just completed tracks. So percussion-wise, I thought was solid. Melody was solid. It was simple, but there was some there, mostly driven by kind of that walking bass. The use of negative space, I think, is quite great. Not every beat needs to have that, but you know, when we're thinking about adding other layers of vocals later on, some producers forget to add some negative space to allow the vocals to be that instrument that is still needed. So that's something we'll continue to think about. You don't need it, but it can be really a good bonus. Beat structure seems fine, nothing too crazy there. And creativity was medium to maybe pointing upwards because it was unique. So I think that's a good start for our first one. Let's see if anyone else has anything to say. Yeah, Jeliii is mentioning maybe add some reverb to the synth. Okay, that's good feedback. So we do have lots and lots of tracks. We're trying to get to more tracks than ever before here. So let's kind of do it moving. And this will be a good segue because we do have Jelii's beat coming up next. Let's go ahead and reload this. So this would be Kindergarten Funk from our guy Jeliii. Let's hear how this goes. Those horns, man. Thinking of some of your other beats, you have really good horn arrangements. Almost gives me like a Dog Pound DPC kind of vibe, actually, in some ways. They kind of mixed in some of those kind of fun, almost elementary school type funks into a lot of their beats, and those horns remind me of that. So nice sounding horns. The synths that are very forward and kind of set the tone for the beat create a very distinct feel. So you would need the right kind of vocalist to match that vibe to really optimize this beat. But nice song structure and good drum arrangements and nice moments with good breakdowns for the drums. I think with good little negative space surrounding that. I think that was very well done and kind of ear catching. So dynamic and unique and could be a very complete track with the right vocalist. It is definitely a good formula. If any of y'all is digging that, yeah, drop the 1 to 5 stars for Jeliii. He always gives a lot of good feedback. So let's try to return the favor, man. See how you guys are feeling about that. So, you know, going through the points, the percussion was good. I like that. You always seem to have a good ear for that, Jeliii. The melody was solid. Those horns definitely helped a lot with that to create something more. Use of negative space, not the biggest part of this beat, but you had moments that were nice. Beat structure and arrangement was good, very good there. So a lot of developing artists didn't get on here because they didn't really have much more of an enticing beat song structure or arrangements. So that's something Jeliii is showcasing here well. Creativity is high. This is a pretty unique beat. It's pretty cool, man. So I think that's definitely a bonus as well. So well done, dude. Shout out to Jeliii. And also be sure to check out the neighborhood Discord that we're trying to get going a little bit. Jelii's been really great to help to get that going. always trying to give further means for artists to grow and collaborate and connect and level up. So that's something I'm beginning to learn more about. I haven't been the most Discorded person. And also, I'd be remiss if not mentioning that the Making Hip Hop community always has a nice Discord linked on their main page. So, you know, different ways to level up as well. And I think I'll drop the link for the neighborhood Discord that Jeliii is helping us get going here, just in case you guys want to get that going. So, okay, well done, Jeliii, man. Cool. Let's see if we can get into the groove and keep this going a little bit. So next up, we got Vintage Beats. And listen close. It's only a minute long. Tell me how you guys think about this one. Nice artwork as well. Cool kind of underlaying melodies in that one as well. So shout out to Vintage Beats. That does leave me wanting more, but I also appreciate that you realize what you have in your beat and you're not just extending it out to 6 minutes just because. That's not actually great song structure. So you showed me what you got and it was enough. It's a really dope beat to me. Interested to see if you guys could hear any rappers that come to mind for that kind of production. You know, it's the beginning of the sample before the drums really take off. Man, that's such a great sample of those strings. Those strings, though, really impressive work there. I could hear like some, I was trying to think, on this I could hear like some Big Crit perhaps, maybe some Talib Kweli, or even some Currency. Trying to get some brainstorming for different styles that might naturally blend with that. So, you know, it is such a nice blend of the string sample and those drums. And it kind of reminds me of some of the drumming of like kind of the classic Southern style drums, you know, not like necessarily trap, but definitely not like classic boom bap hip hop either. So unique there, and it matches the sample well. You could almost say it's in a similar neighborhood to International Players Anthem, which is like one of the highest accolades in my opinion. So going through the points, percussion was great. Melody was great. Not a lot of negative space in the second half, a little bit more at the beginning when there isn't as much drums. That's fine. That's not a pro or a con. It's just good to shout that out as we continue to listen for it. Beat structure was pretty good. At first, before the drums started hitting, I was like, maybe not the best beat structure. But then it took it there, and it was creative for that reason. So I think it was pretty strong all the way around. Let's see if we have anyone in the chat here. Shout out Dennis. Welcome to the neighborhood, fam. He's talking about interesting beat. I'd say nice melody, but maybe too many kicks at the beginning. Otherwise, love the melody and the vocal samples. Okay, so some similarity there. And INVZKID saying some Doom vibes. Yeah, that could happen. That would be a really good match. Maybe Doom remixes are quite popular. If any of you guys enjoy doing some cool Doom remixes, that could sound real fire. And then let's see, Jeliii saying the beat seems to drag a bit behind the sample. Interesting, so maybe the sampling might be a little bit off to his ears. I didn't quite hear that, but he's saying might want to either speed up the tempo or change the positioning and the chop of the sample. Sounds like a golf crew beat, but giving it a 4 out of 5, so that is one of our highest ratings. You know, we can be kind of mean and not giving out a lot of 4s and 5s, so that's an absolute win. So well done, Vintage Beats. I really like that one. You know, overall it was a nice short beat, and you know, and going forwards, in order to get to everyone, I might only play the first minute or so. If your beat kind of just keeps going, it doesn't really change or go anywhere or end nicely at 1 minute. So heads up there. Yeah, man. Yeah, let us know. All right, so let's keep it moving, guys. Let's see what we got up next. So next up, we got Tim FLAIR with that artwork. Let's see what we got. Fantastic. Okay, that one definitely ticked a lot of boxes, man. I'm curious how you guys feel about that one. Leave the 1 to 5 star rating for Tim FLAIR, guys. The rest of the beat didn't go too many different places, so I think you got a good sample of that. Great melodies on display. That kind of melodic, epic kind of guitar sample that everything seems to be built around is fantastic. It's immediately great. But that's not often enough. You need to also balance that and marry that with the perfect percussion, and I think that is done really well here. It really does make it for me how well those kind of solid trap drums with the dynamic and well-panned bass flares kind of match the tone of that really nice sample, and you've probably done some good work cleaning up and adding reverb to that sample. It sounds quite nice. So let's see, percussion-wise, solid, you know, really good for that kind of the trap style. Melody was great due to that guitar sample. Not a lot of negative space in this one, but that's fine. Beat structure was solid, not lacking at all. That's fine, could be a great song. Creativity was medium. It was definitely I've heard beats maybe that it reminds me of in a similar domain, but unique enough and very good. I mean, you know, this definitely kind of begs for a vocalist to turn it into a complete track, in my opinion. It could be a very, very nice track. Let's see what we have. Anyone else in the chat? Hey, shout out to a few more people popping up. Eki, good to see you back. Welcome back to the neighborhood. Claus, hey, man, you got a fire beat coming up later on. You guys can, as I kind of close the tabs, you'll be in to see who's in the queue a little bit easier. So that's nice. Let's see what else we got. Dennis talking about nice. He likes the kick pattern and the bass glides. Yeah, I agree. 5. Okay, Jeliii giving it a 5. We already have a 5. This is going to be a fun show, I have a feeling. Jeliii saying maybe the only thing, spacing the sample, just 2 tracks and then send one left and the other to the right here, so maybe a little bit more with a dynamic panning. You mean on the main guitar sample, Jeliii, I assume? But then we're getting Dennis and INVZKID dropping 4s. Hey, so right now, Tim FLAIR, holler at you. This is the beat to beat. All right, man. Hey, real nice. And I'm hoping the whole point of this, guys, is that as you see me dropping these links, that you spread some love, you look these guys up, you drop some comments. It's not hard to do. What goes around comes around. If that's what you want to have happen to you, spend a little effort and do it to some others, man. There's well-deserving artists here. Some good collab potential as well. All right, so let's kind of keep it moving. We got Take 2 coming up. Here we go. Mega Man vibes right here. Who knows about that Mega Man? Y'all don't know about that Mega Man. Layers in there, very busy, but when he drops out the beat, it works pretty well. That might be an important song structure element. Okay, so Take Two, shout out to you. That was one of the more unique beats that we're gonna have on here. I'm curious what you guys think about it as far as your overall feelings. It might be a bit niche for some people, but I like the creative direction you took it in. Definite Mega Man vibes, man. Definitely going on that old school kind of like analog bit sounding computer game beat, but I love that. Very cool and unique. And great supporting drums and a nice tempo as well. You know, it might be a bit fast for some people, but you could really hear some vocalists who are good at kind of faster tempos really kill that one. So that's a real strength to me. Also, you know, it is busy but not too crowded. It's knocking on the door, but then you can even see in the wave form down there are nice gaps placed in there with beat structure to kind of take it in and out and kind of continue catching your ear and allowing some extra negative space for the vocals in those gaps. So I think that was well done. Percussion was really good to me. Melody was, fine, mostly just driven by that kind of sample. Not much negative space here overall except for in the gaps. Beat structure and arrangements, I think, are a win for this one for sure. And creativity. It's a creative, cool, interesting beat. I think you submitted another one as well, and it was totally different. So look up Take Two. Definitely some interesting beats here. Very cool. Let's see how people are liking it in the chat. We see Jeliii hitting you with a 3, which is a win. That's a definite win. 3, 4, or 5 is a win. We can be stingy with our 4s and 5s. Jeliii's talking about maybe a bit more top end. Could seem a bit more flat in the instrumentation, but liking the instrumentation overall. Dennis saying also a 3 and improved after the dropout of the mallet pattern, which was a bit too fast for their taste. Okay. Try throwing gross beat on it. Some parts maybe 808, playing with the 808. Yeah, we're doing a 5-star rating here, Claus. 1 out of 5. So 5-star meaning you would actually download this, add it to a playlist, or share it with a friend. That's how much you care about it. That's kind of the unique way we like to look at it. And then INVZKID saying maybe shorten the intro a bit. So, that's all good. People are engaging with this. And even if, you're not necessarily getting a rave review from everyone, everyone's subjective as well. Like, I might like this a little bit more than others. But everyone is at least liking it enough to say it's a 3 or so. And that's good. And in general, when people are engaging, that can be one of the hardest things to get. So that's a win as well. A lot of the really dope beats on here, no one really has nothing to say about it. So it's actually much better to get people to engage your music than not. So that's also a win. So well done, guys. Okay. Trying to get some diversity in what we hear here a little bit. Well, let's keep it moving. We definitely got some more awesome stuff here. So here we go with Kane Beats. Let's see what we got from Kane Beats. Might be off a project, it looks like, perhaps. Let us know if you hear Kane. Anyone over this? Who could rap over this is the question. Some Playboy Cardi, perhaps? Interesting one. It's hard to stop because it's like little things are changing all the time. Okay, I think we'll stop it there. Hey, shout out to Kane Beats. Lots of very interesting details. I would challenge anyone to run that back. Not entirely formulaic in its arrangement and design. That's very cool, and lots of fun little moments in there. It comes across as one of those beats that doesn't necessarily have a ton of depth, but that's not always bad. Sometimes it's very good, and some vocalists are looking for beats like this, so it just kind of puts it in a specific lane. That's why I was kind of curious if any of you guys could hear anyone else over that it reminded you of. It does have a cool, glitchy, maybe even Astro World type feel to it. I'm curious. That's interesting when you see all these type beats on SoundCloud, on YouTube. It makes me almost wonder if Astro World has almost become its own kind of subgenre that's like touching on trap but having different melodic kind of patterns to it. Be interesting if you guys feel like Astro World type beats are almost their own subgenre at this point, and whether or not this really sounds like one of those to you. A very cool energy with nice and clear layers of melody. Pretty impressive to me. The percussion was very unique and cool. I liked that. Melody there were some very good melodies in there. Nothing trying to go too crazy, but lots of kind of layering to a few different melodic layers. And there was actually, even though it sounded busy as well, there's also one of those busy elements is negative space. There's lots of tiny little stops in between the percussion and during the transition. That's very nice in between kind of the synth chords that are more prominent. So very cool. Beat structure and arrangement was top notch, and creativity for that reason as well was pretty top notch, in my opinion. I think it was pretty solid. Let's see what we got in the chat. Dennis talking about liking the live instrumentation vibe and the detuned lead. He's giving it a 3, and he feels like it could have had more continuity and white space for the rap vocals. Okay. I hear that. Scripts hitting it with the 3 as well. Liking the drums. Feel like the 808 could be more distorted. So maybe, okay, interesting. I'd have to hear that back. Maybe saying if you're going to get weird with it, get weird with it. Go all the way. Go all in. You know, interesting. I also don't have the best ear for mixing. So if you guys, since you guys are probably several producers here, probably have a better ear for that. If anything really stands out, let me know. And one of the things I want to talk about is it's fine to just put in the chat anything that you hear, but also when it becomes your turn to get to feel the feedback, there's a big difference between objective and subjective feedback. So just take everything with a grain of salt. This is just what people are hearing from their subjective angle. And if you want to give more helpful feedback, point out specifically if you feel like there are objective flaws. Like sometimes there really are objective flaws, like certain instruments are maxed out or peaking or what have you. I mean, not too many on this episode, but you know, try to be clear if you feel like there's really something objective. That'll be very helpful so people can differentiate that from kind of just saying, okay, this is how this person just felt subjectively about my beat. Maybe I don't need to change anything. So one of the things we tend to go with feedback, did you detect a flaw or not? Okay, so very helpful if you feel like there's any flaws. So let's continue to talk about that. But yeah, I agree. So, you know, like Script says, this would be easy to have someone rap over it. And then INVZKID hitting it with the 4, liking the chords and the vibe. You know, maybe saying there could be a little room to change the drums. And Jeliii hitting it with the 4, saying no qualms. Hey, very nice. Okay, so certainly, you know, some similarities in the production and the percussion to the previous track, but also taking it in its own direction. So shout out, man, very well done. Okay, and I believe I dropped the link. So let's keep it moving here, guys. And you know, I don't know if you guys, I know it's late. We got some, at least one person hanging in there really late in the EU. Light them if you got them, man. I might have to run around and do a little something like that. And as always, I got this. So cheers to all you guys here on a Saturday night. Yee. So here we go with Nattie. Kind of an epic build here. Build is great. It makes you ask, where's it gonna go, right? It's a good question to ask. Breakdown right here. Yeah, mentioned JID beat. Do you feel the same way? Who do you hear over this? This I could definitely hear some industry cats over this. It's unique, but also definitely capturing a vibe. Man, Nattie, shout out to you, man. You're getting some of the most engagement we've seen in the chat, so that's always a win. And you were one of the first people to drop your link when I put out the Reddit post on making hip hop, so thank you for that, man. And delivering and leading by example quite well. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I can almost hear some like Black Hippie or some J-Rock over this, maybe even some Tech 9. I'm curious how many of you guys are familiar with some of Tech 9's work. It does have this kind of very hypnotic vibe to it that sucks you in, and there is a good breakdown that sucks you in further. Parts of me in my first reaction impression was like waiting for it to really hit and hit hard. It never quite goes there, but that's fine. You know, these are more subjective choices. It's definitely fine at what it's doing. So, you know, the tempo on this actually is a bit tricky. For a rapper, it's a little on the slow side. You might even have to go really fast or really slow over this kind of beat, or be a master of switching between those things, which many of our favorite rappers do. But I do feel like it's really impressive. I think the percussion is strong. There's some really nice elements percussion-wise. that I want to point out in a moment. Let us know if you guys think there's anything missing there. Melody was very strong with that sample. There was some good use of negative space when, when things are dropping out and in between kind of some of the percussion elements. Pretty strong beat structure and pretty creative as well. So let's see what people are saying in the chat. People are digging it. INVZKID shouting out that Dre snare. Very cool. People liking the wonky vibes. It is kind of wonky on purpose, but it works, doesn't it? I think it works. Script saying that they're loving the melody and the vibe. The drums sound cool. 808s might sound a bit out of tune. That's just for them. Yeah, it is interesting when you have kind of some of these weird in-between official notes, kind of like harmonies and melodies. Matching and tuning your drums to them can be a challenge, and this one is definitely doing something weird. So hard for me to tell if the 808s and drums are tuned properly due to its weirdness, or if there could be room for improvement there. Claus hitting it with a 3, liking the drums, saying the sound selection could have been a little bit different, maybe more dry or lo-fi. Interesting. Claus liking the break. Dennis hitting it with a 4, enjoying the suspense of the lead-in, right? Which sometimes that doesn't work for people, and I'm like, cut that out. But this beat delivered on that, so that was actually quite good. Hoping the drop would be more dramatic. That was kind of what I was anticipating and feeling too, but it doesn't need it. It's just what you were expecting. Sometimes violating your expectation is a good thing. Depends on what vocalist you would have on here, right? Dennis also saying might need a stronger kick or use more compression to bring the kick out and the sub. Who could sound good on this? Joey Badass. That's in the chat. Ooh, I could hear that quite well. Jelii's liking the sharp snare. Stands out well. Also saying maybe add some thickness to the kick and kind of work with that low end a little bit. But it might be subjective. Freddie Gibbs might kill this. Woo-hoo. I don't know how I didn't think of that one. That's a good one. Jeliii hitting with the 3.5. Yeah, this one, send this one over to Freddie, man. Definitely. Hey, awesome. So, I'm still not sure if I've played a beat from anyone who's here in the chat yet. Let me know more clearly if it is, because a lot of what's fun about this kind of format is asking you guys about your creative process and kind of like digging in a little bit more. So if any of you are here, let me know. Kind of DJing a little bit, so it's hard for me to pay attention to everything. But very good beat, man. People are liking it. People are reacting to it. Beautiful. All right, let's move on and see what Reefy.io? Reefy.io? Man, someone try to pronounce that name for me. Let's see how it sounds. Reefy.io. Reefy.io. We'll get it. That wah-wah pedal guitar already got me. Building something quite epic from the sound of it. Stripped down this one. This inspired me to get another beer. Okay, man, I'm not even gonna try to murder your name anymore, but I enjoyed the beat. It was a very good beat. Trying to think who would sound good on it. Nothing immediately came to mind. But maybe like some Freddie Gibbs, maybe because that was already in my mind. Also, maybe like some old school Outkast, like some Aquemini, one of those dark, dirty tracks that wasn't a single. You know, they have some of that dark production. Adrian Young, kind of the drumming a little bit reminded me a little Adrian Young. That's a very high honor. He's a genius, very unique. I feel like James Bond could be running around on that temple, man. That was like a James Bond beat, sort of, you know? Hip-hop James Bond out here. So cool. Ominous feeling to it. I definitely like that. The drum mixing might be a bit off. I couldn't quite tell. I would need to run that back. The kick was hard, though. Am I tripping about the drum mixing? I might have to check in the chat. I'm wondering about that snare and how it was mixed. It didn't seem consistent, but maybe that's what it was trying to do on some Adrian Young type shit. I'm not sure. Maybe they're going for more of an analog live drum kind of a mix stylistically. So I'm not sure it was a flaw. Percussion, good. I liked it. I liked it. Pending more info about the mix and hearing it again. Melody, not a lot of it, right? But there was some of these like kind of weeping wah-wah chords were very good with the guitar and made it quite epic. I enjoyed that. Tons of negative space here. So that is great for a vocalist and allows them to take it in many different directions and emphasize their voice. So that's winning for that. This is begging for a rapper. It would probably sound even better. Some beats actually are great and then you rap on them and they sound less good. Oftentimes because they're too busy. But this is the kind of beat that only would get better with vocals. Like imagine Black Thought or someone, you know, rhyming on that. It would sound incredible. So pretty creative. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. Seems like we're getting some decent reactions. Oh, several. Oh, some BBNG. Oh, yes. Throw some Ghostface on there as well. Collab. People liking the groove. It's a hard intro. Dennis giving it a 3. Sounds like low crunch at the beginning. Didn't seem to fit in. It's also a bit slow for a rapper to deliver on. Depending, it might be only for certain rappers like a Rick Ross or someone who can do a very dominant, ominous, strong, but slow verse. Not a lot of people can do that. But, you know, we need beats like that for people who can. So it's very good about it. Okay, Colin. Hey, welcome to the neighborhood, man. Thank you for. I might not be able to check my messages very well here, but if you hit me in the chat, I got you. So thank you for that. This isn't you, is it, Colin? Let me know if this is you. Let's see what else we got. Jeliii said he wouldn't mind hopping on this. Okay. Yeah, it leaves room for vocal creativity, more maybe like some Midwest trippy vibes. So 4 in that domain, I kind of agree. That's what it reminded me of as well. So this one might be a certain lane, but it seems like it's executing that lane quite well. So, you know, let's see. Drum pattern is crazy. Okay, so Claus, you liking that? And spoiler alert, I liked your drums a lot, man. So be curious to hear more of that. Oh, some POS Doomtree, Rap Game 007. Yeah, that's what I was feeling. Okay, so interesting. You know, again, we're trying to show you guys some different things. So very cool. Hopefully we're doing well so far. I think we're doing pretty good about our timing as well. Let's see if we can throw a few more things at you, and then we have kind of a fun little lightning round coming up in a bit. So we'll see if we can put some beats head to head. So here we go with DJ Kayfabe. Let me know how you feel about this. Face. Who would rap on this, y'all? Some Jeezy? Getting some old school trap vibes on this. I really like the energy on this one. Bring it back now. It doesn't really change too much as we keep going here, so I think you got the idea here. But that's one of those ones where you don't always, we talked about arrangements of the beat and beat structure being advantageous, but sometimes you really just do have an amazing, simple thing that doesn't need much more added to it. And I think this is kind of in that lane. I think it's kind of a home run. You don't need to make everything more complex sometimes. It's rare. Often I think people need to try a little harder, but not always, and I think this is a good example of that. Great energy on here, unique to what we've heard thus far. It's capturing a tempo and an energy, and those kind of claps were edited and kind of filtered very well and kind of resonate quite well. And sometimes claps can come across quite corny, but that actually worked really great. So I could hear, like, let's see, maybe like a Drake or a Lil Wayne on this, even like a Migos or A$AP Rocky perhaps. Maybe there could be one extra breakdown or change song structure wise somewhere that could go far, but not sure it's necessarily needed. Let's see, percussion was strong. Melody, it's more in that hypnotic kind of vibe, so there's not a lot of melody there, but the kind of main, like, that worked very well. And so that layer was winning. There's some good negative space in here, definitely some emptiness. Beat structure I think is fine enough, and creativity isn't super high, but that's okay. It's catchy. It might win some of the bonus category for kind of catchiness and mass appeal, which not every beat does, perhaps. So let's see. Scripps is bobbing his head to it. People liking the vocal sample. That open hi-hat from Claus is on point. Oh, Nipsey Hussle would have worked it down. Yeah, I agree with that. Alex, shout out to you. Welcome to the neighborhood if I haven't got to you yet. Jeliii saying applies beat. Yeah, a lot of different people would kill this, right? This is why it sounds impressive to me, because it sounds like real industry ready. Jeliii saying the hi-hats aren't hitting it perfectly for him. That's interesting. So we have pros and cons for some people's ears. But often, you have to run this stuff back. 3.5 out of Dennis, liking the concept, especially the use of the sample, but saying maybe the mix could be improved. Drums sound a bit dry, could use more transitions and diversity, but a 4 from Jeliii, a 4 from Claus, and the 808s sound good from Colin. So, interesting. I think sounds like the thing that people are both loving and not liking the most are the hats, the hi-hats. That seems to be the dividing factor here. But often a lot of that can change when you put vocals on it. That layer doesn't stand out as much, so it depends. But, man, well done. Definitely a cool and different beat, DJ Kayfabe. So appreciate you on that one. All right, so let's see. Next up, we got, let's just throw this on. If you know who this producer is, Fiori DS, I believe out of Italy, let us know, man. Otherwise, learn about it. Try to count the layers for this one. Tell me who would sound good on it. buddy. That's something we haven't had yet. I think there's a couple interesting little vocal samples in there. I think as dude says come, which is like eat in Italian, I believe. Maybe Spanish as well. And I think there might have been a little sample lift from Too Short But Funky. There's a little funky that you hear dropped in there. That caught my ear as an Oakland guy. Dude, man, if this one doesn't have it all, right? I mean, it's very hip-hop. So, you know, great tempo. Great bounce to the beat. Man, I've always wondered, I haven't played any of my beats, but I've made some beats too. But like, I've never been able to get that bounce in those drums. You know, I've always been curious how that's done. It's very masterful to me. Awesome use of bongos. Can we get some love for bongos? People always talking about add more cowbell. What about the bongos? You got to use it right though. It can be corny if it's not used right. But these bongos sound incredible. Like you could rob somebody to that. Like this sounds like I might even enjoy getting robbed if this beat was being played. You know, this is some gutter shit. Well done. You know, so relatively unique and pretty amazing use of bongo layer there. I feel like you could obviously hear some Wu-Tang on that. I mean, how does that not come to mind immediately? Maybe some Flatbush Zombies. Maybe even some Tyler or some Earl Sweatshirt. Maybe some Pusha T. Pusha T would probably go nuts on that shit. It's not really the style he's using anymore, but he has rapped on beats like that in the past. So this is kind of that beat. It's pretty much any hip hop fan I feel like has to love, which is very impressive to me. But it also feels contemporary. It doesn't feel too dusty or old to me, which can be the case sometimes. So nice contemporary techniques used to make it sound clean and dynamic. There's so many classic elements in there, you know, as far as traditional hip hop vibes, but it still feels fresh. So, you know, shout out to Fiori DS. I know he's a favorite of several of the very active members of the making hip hop community, and for good reason, and also makes some of the best slow jams I've ever heard, and kind of real chill beats as well. This is a little atypical for Fiori. So I dropped the link. Look dude up and do yourself a favor, man. Spread some love. So one of the most consistent producers out there as far as quality of beats. Every beat is just really high quality in my opinion. So percussion was very nice. Melody was not super melodic in this one, but that's okay. It's going for something else, but it has that kind of main instrument there, carrying that. A little bit of negative space for sure. And the beat structure is solid. I would say it's actually pretty creative, even though it reminds me of some Wu-Tang stuff, because it's doing it in a different way. Let's see. Oh my God. Let's see what we got in the chat. I think this one might be winning. Oh, fuck. All right. So who could be on this? Jurassic 5. Yup. Gangstar. Hell yeah. INVZKID says 5. Oh my God. 5 all around. Claus says 5, 5, 5, 5. MF Doom. Yes. I could hear for sure on this. Yeah. Ghostface would kill it. Hey, we're getting hella 5s, y'all. Bongo, someone shouting out the bongo and just the fighting sounds. That's very Wu-Tang, obviously. It's dirty. This is dirty. Dennis, I want to shout you out, man. Very good, thorough feedback. You've been really active. I appreciate you. Dennis saying good use of samples and the bongo and the sword sounds. Oh, man. Could be a great beat for Biggie or early Jay-Z. Oh, man. If you found some like old unreleased material, put it on this one. You got a hit even in 2020. Yeah, I'm hype on this too, y'all. Damn, let's see what else we got. Those high horns or torns, triplets. Pretty sexy, apparently. Yeah, Shaolin boxing style for show. Jose Moore from Jeliii saying he would kill this. Yeah, people would love to get on this one, man. Fiori might be one of those producers who's hard to get to because, like we're seeing here, everyone wants to hop on those beats. So you might have to be a little bit patient. But you know, what we're trying to do is at least let y'all know who's out there, man. So that's for sure. Look people up, man. Yeah, and so okay, so and then I had mentioned something about the percussion, and Jeliii saying, okay, some of that bounce in the percussion is achieved using some swing. Okay, I mean, I don't know what that means, but I'm with that. And then yeah, Tupac, I love Tupac, man. He could still kill it today. I think he's an OG who would still be very relevant today if he was here. So yeah, for sure. Okay, so I guess this is the new beat to beat, right? I mean, this was the winner. But of course, it's in a certain lane, and we have a lot of what we're trying to do. We don't have a lot of traditional hip hop on this show, so well, actually, there probably might not be a lot of competition for this. We'll be hitting some different things, different angles. But damn, definitely wanted to make sure we got to Fiori DS on here because dude got mad talent, man. All right, so let's do it moving, guys. Let's see what we got up next. All right, so okay, we haven't done a trap track yet, so you know, let's be fair and balanced here, okay? So here we go with Nick B on the track. Tell me what y'all think about this. Like that Memphis funk style, some 3 6 Mafia. Seems like that's where this is at. I think you get the idea on that one. You know, it is what it is. You know, the question is, you know, how good is this at doing what it's trying to do, right? So some of these beats are more universal, some of these are more niche. So, you know, and we have a diverse listening audience here. So some people might not like this vibe, some people might love this vibe. So at the very least, I wanted to make sure I got to it. And this is not the same as your just run-of-the-mill trap track. This is doing something a little bit more different and kind of a nod to like the Memphis funk style, which I do think is, we talked about it last show, kind of like coming back in a really interesting way. And since trap has been around for so long and the pendulum has gone that direction, it's inevitable that things will go back the other way, and what will sound new and different will be exciting to people. And this is a different take on it that might breathe some life into this and might allow for some cool collaborations with people. So that's interesting if you're on this hype. So, you know, it's a solid trap beat, has that Tennessee funk twist, not totally on that funk vibe, but the chorus reminds me of it. It's pretty polished, if I'm being fair and giving good credit. It seems ready to go. The low end sounds good. It's a good formula. So the percussion is solid. You know, melody isn't really there on this one, but that's, you know, it's not trying to be, so that's fine. That's kind of the funk style. You know, it's not very melodic style, so that's actually in that lane. Beat structure was, you know, medium to low. There wasn't really much happening there, so the creativity isn't that high outside of kind of mixing in that Memphis funk kind of style a little bit. You know, it might be a little too formulaic for some. Let's see if what people are feeling in the chat. Okay, getting some good reactions. Thank everyone for being so lit in the chat. R.I.P. Koopsta. Oh man, one of my favorites, man. I love 3 6 Mafia. Scripps hitting it with a 4. Yeah, man. Okay, thank you. I'm happy to see some love for different kinds of music. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Colin saying a 3, but that's a win for our audience. It's only a 3 out of 5. You know, 5 stars being you would download it, share it with a friend, or you know, really add it to a playlist or something like that. So yeah, not very original, but well done is what people are saying. INVZKID is liking it. It is haunting, right? This shit'll come for you in the night. A little ugly-ish, yep. Not my cup of tea, but a 3 from Jeliii, a 3.5 from Dennis. Yeah, people are liking the mixing on this. You know, 4 from INVZKID. So cool. Yeah, I guess what some people who don't like the Memphis funk style is they don't like the busyness of the samples. I'm a fan of it, but yeah, it can, especially to someone who's not used to that style, can be a bit much at first. But, you know, there we have it. Definitely standing out a little bit more than just your average run-of-the-mill, you know, trap beat, right? So shout out to you. Good job, Nick B on the track. Appreciate that. All right, cool. So INVZKID, you're up, cuz. Thank you for being here and being lit in the chat. Let's jump right into it. Most Def. Got getting some Black Star Respiration type vibes on that one, huh? Look, that was the jam. You could put that on a loop. Hey, man, shout out to INVZKID, and you're here, so we can actually talk to you about it. It sounds like you had a lot of fun making that, to me. At least that's how it comes across. Maybe you had to grind that out, and it was a very challenging ordeal, but it sounded smooth and buttery to me. Also, question of the day. Would you want to have any, are you open to collaboration for this? If anyone's interested, would you want to experiment with allowing some vocals or not? You know, either way. But it's cool that you're here so we can ask. You know, it's a very great, funky, soulful beat. Great sample. Could be used in hip-hop, could be not hip-hop. You know, this is one of those cross-genre kind of tracks. Could just be a soul track, could just be a funk track. You can take it in a different direction and probably mix it a little differently and change the drums and turn it into like an EDM track. Like, you're hearing a lot of kind of funky stuff like this in that universe. It's not far off. I think those audiences would be good in these kind of, you know, festival type vibes, DJ sets. It could be perfect just as an instrumental. You know, I think it was enough, right? Like, it sounds like you have some live instrumentation that you placed in here, so you're clearly a double threat and a talented artist when it comes to that as well. And that carries it. You know, sometimes when you have that live instrumentation, unless you have a good singer or something, you don't need a lot else. So pretty good. Maybe this doesn't need vocals. Of all the tracks we've heard thus far, this might be one of the ones that qualifies for maybe it could just be a perfect instrumental as it is. I mean, I I could hear this on like a DJ Shadow playlist, for example, no problem. It definitely has that kind of timeless feel with that prominent bass line and that funky guitar, but also that fits right in with traditional, hip hop vibes, and the way you handled the mixing and the horn sample for the hook and stuff, top notch. So points wise, percussion was great, melody was good. Negative space, I'd have to hear it again. There's a lot going on, but it sounds real clean at least. Beat structure and arrangements, some of the best we've had on here, if not the best. So creativity pretty fucking high, even though it's classic sounding as well. So pretty great. Let's see what we got in the chat. Oh man. All right, so I think next to the Fiori DS track, this is winning. I mean, y'all might have tied for like the top highest honors and accolades. Claus and Colin giving this a 5. Yeah, okay, and Viz, thank you for letting us know you played the guitar and the bass. So very good, and I'm assuming you handled the sampling and the rest of the beat making as well. So Jeliii saying not the biggest fan of some of the high end. You can cut out some of the sharpness, but it might be subjective. Scripts hitting it with the 5. Real funky, man. The funk, hey, I'm a big fan of the funk. It might be my favorite genre. And if you think about it, it actually permeates almost every other genre. Funk is central to hip hop. Funk is central to its own genre. It's making a huge, big impact with pop and R&B. Michael Jackson and all these other things. These are all funk related. There's funk rock. It's the real deal. Everyone loves it. It's the best music to work to as well, or study to. So Jeliii is hitting it with a 4. Alex saying modern Southern playalistic Cadillac music. Woo! That's one of the highest honors in my book. Outcast, shout out. Yeah, man, you might have to cross-post this over in Making Jazz because it is that jazzy. Now, let's get some diversity. Dennis is hitting it with a 3, liking the funky vibe and the drum groove. Maybe just less familiar with his style so that it's just not immediately hitting him like he is with others. So that's okay. Dennis, let me know. Have you listened to like some Outcast or like some, some of those like kind of funkier other tracks? Maybe that's worth exploring. It's definitely fun to listen to. Let's see. All right, it's okay. And Viz saying, all right, he might take that advice to heart about what Jeliii mentioned with the high end and doing some mixing. So, hey, but you have to say, man, you're getting some rave reviews. This is a rave review, and Viz is open to collab, so this can be a golden opportunity for some of you guys. Yeah, cook some shit up. Hit them up. And Viz, drop your social on here, any of your socials on here if you'd like, so people can get a hold of you. I already dropped the link to this track. The goal for this is to collaborate, you know what I mean? And to level up so that we can do it all together. And this might be a good time to call back and talk about the Discord we have. So for those of you who don't know, Discord is an app where you can, of course, kind of text and share different links, and it's often very good for making tracks and collaborating. And so for this show, since we've now been doing this for a while, we have started our own Discord. And so this could be a fantastic place to kind of take that next step and work together and maybe polish up and finish some of these tracks. So here's the link to that Discord of ours. Yeah, I think you have to download the Discord application, but it's real fast. It's like Zoom or something. It's hella fast to download. And that's, shout out to Jeliii for putting that together, man. That's our guy. So, we hope to continue to be able to have some of that in between so that we can continue to cook some shit up, man. So very good. So, yep, we appreciate that. All right, guys. Yeah, this was definitely a win. And if this kind of funky style is intriguing to you, but you're not immediately familiar with it, Spodioty.Delicious. Someone put the link in here on YouTube. Look, go on, since I'm doing other shit, go on here, find an Outcast song, Spodioty.Delicious. It's an instrumental. It's one of those songs that's so good, they were like no vocals or very limited vocals. And I guess there are some limited vocals, but they're just kind of talking through it. And then the hook has just a horn, one of the best horn arrangements of all time. And, if you're reminding me of that shit, you winning. You winning for sure. Okay, so, yeah, fuck, now I want to play that song. Goddamn. might also have to take a little step away and percolate a little bit and come back a little more red-eyed. But here's what we got first and foremost. I need my first 90-second break of the evening following that dope track. And then we're going to get into the lightning round, which is new and different. So, you know, I had, you know, over like 120 submissions. And I grouped together about 4 or 5 that were in a similar kind of vibe for different reasons, even though they took it in different directions. And we're going to put them head to head and see who comes out on top. So get ready and get frosty with your 1 to 5 star ratings for these. And I'll be right back in about 90 seconds, y'all. Here's I was thinking about some Hall of Fame beats that are underappreciated. Here's one off of the Games album featuring a, you know, relatively prime 2015 Drake with 100. If you don't know it, learn about it. Yeah, shout out to that Canadian school system, man. They got free healthcare too. Damn, Canada killing it right now. Shout out to Canadians. They hella polite. All right, anyways, so look, we're going to try this out. This is the lightning round. So let's get into it. All these beats are great. They're all pretty close, neck and neck. Y'all got to drop the 1 to 5 and tell me who's really winning. So let's start off with Wilson, who's been pretty prominent, man, dropping lots of beats. Very active producer. Let's hear what Wilson's got here. You see Fiori DS commented on that, liking that. You get the vibe for that, but I do recall there is a really great change in here as well. Let's get to that. 5 on this, guys. We'll have to move on to the next one real quick. Test the similarities. Yeah. All right. So you got it from Wilson. All right. So yeah, drop that 1 to 5 star rating. Let's see how we can do this. Buttery classic hip hop sample. Really cool breakdown there at the end, which I wanted to make sure I played. Otherwise, there wasn't that much change in the beat structure. But when you dropped out those drums and played the extended sample, it definitely worked for me, and it could be a great song. Definitely could be a great song how it is. We are getting, let's see, quick reaction. Colin hitting him with the 4, Scripts with the 3.75, hitting me with fractions, making me do math like I went to Canadian school. And then INVZKID hitting it with the 5. He's really liking that. Interesting. Dennis hitting it with the 4, enjoying the lo-fi vibe. Pretty clean in terms of mixing and the use of the sample. Enjoying the fullness blend of the high and low. Very good, reminding him of some early Kanye. Remember what you just heard, and let's compare it to this one. Here goes T.Castles. Let's go, son. It immediately makes me want weed. I'm just gonna, to be fair, because this is the lightning round, I'm gonna stop it. If you love any of these, look up the links and spread some love. Drop your 1 to 5 star rating now. That last track got about an average of 4.3. Your boy had to do a little Canadian math. So great bass line on this one, as well as those awesome string samples. Holy shit. Really nice harmonies because of that. How do we feel about the hook with the sampled voice is one of the things that stood out to me, and I couldn't figure out if it was for a good or bad reason. But maybe it's just one of those things you have to hear again. Some of these vocal samples grow on you, so I'm not quite sure. Scripts hitting it with the 4.2. Alex enjoying that vinyl crackle. Dennis hitting it with the 4.5. Could be a J. Cole, early Kanye, or Logic type track. Another 4.5 from Colin. So yes, great to have you here as well. Sounds like you already have a version T.Castles with a rapper from ATL on it. Very cool. I would like to hear that. You know, you could take this in a real smooth direction, or you can kind of chop it up and get some energy. That might sound really cool. I'd be curious how that artist came over this, and I'm interested. Drop a link so we can hear that, please. Sorry I didn't get to the next part of that hook. I really like the way your percussion and your hats were falling in there as I rudely stopped the track. Again, sorry, I'm trying to just get to everyone, man, and we still got a lot of beats coming up. We hear some people can hear Kid Cudi over this. We're getting another 5 from Jeliii. Perfect rating. We do a 5-star rating. Alex didn't love the sample switch. Only the chopped up parts were what they really enjoyed. Interesting. Stoner music being shouted out. Yeah, but people also loving the sample and bass, you know, from INVZKID, from the previous artist here. So very cool. And T.Castles is saying, do a search for Resting Below Black Adam T.Castles for the full track. So very cool, and I dropped the link in here. So let's remember that, and we have a few more to try to contrast. I think you might have just beat out the last artist. I'll do the math and update it, but you had a 4.3 to beat. I'm pretty sure you at least came in above that. Here we go up with next with TJB, another really great producer on Making Hip Hop.
TJB.
Okay, it hurts me to turn these tracks off, guys. All right, look, hella funny. Scripts talking about seagulls. You know it's about to get real. You almost can't put seagulls in the track if it's a poor track. If it's a weak track, you gotta take out the seagulls, man. That's letting me know it's gonna be real vibey, real vibe-like. So TJB, shout out to you. Please drop your 1 to 5 star rating. Last artist came in with a 4.4, which is currently in the lead for the lightning round. You can see how there's some similarities in these being very heavily melodically sampled driven beats, kind of Kanye-esque. So much better drums to support this kind of a sample than many other producers would use. I noted the really nice kind of like snare roll at the end, very crisp and well mixed sounding drums. And I like that cool seagull effect that did really add and make it dynamic and three-dimensional, created a good ambiance. And then, you know, of course, towards the end, when that final and extra kind of flute layer drops, it really maximizes the beat and the experience. I can understand how you don't want that the whole time, though, but for the hook or what have you, that's a very strong element. It's a very dominating element. It was very good. So TJB, good job, bruh. 4.5 from Scripts, another 4.5 and a 4 and another 4. So, you know, very good, very rappable. All these could be great songs, guys. You know, that's for sure. I think a special shout out, like Dennis is pointing out, that the sub on the bass and the low end is not missed on this. Like a lot of people who sample heavily often don't do that well, and it was done quite well here. So very good. All right, we got a couple more. Here we go with produced by Bonzai, or production Bonzai.
I'm trying to help somebody. You might have brought a friend and your friend left, but you're still here. And your friend said to you, why are you still going to that church? You know, as a folk get on my nerves. You know,
Okay, so we got the vibe for that one. You know, if you can, drop your 1 to 5 real quick for this to see how it does. You know, much better drums to support this sample than many producers, similar to the last artist, taking it more in the trap direction. Let's see. Yeah, very trappy drums, pretty hard hitting low end. That was pretty nasty. Nice chop variation that was, on the primary sample that was, kind of subtle and interesting. You didn't just keep it the same the whole time. I really encourage people to listen back to this one if you have a second, if you're interested in subtle changes, to see how that was done in a very cool and continuous way, but subtle. The chop changes for the second half after this continue as well, so check that out. Seems like Bonzai really enjoyed exploring the sample and the different combinations a lot with this one, and I think that's showcased here. So we got a 4.2, a 5, and then 3 more 4s. Okay, very interesting. Reminding Jeliii of some older Andy Monero. Wow, that's a very interesting thing. Castle saying, maybe you could have pitched the sound effect differently in parts. And Dennis saying the bass and the kick worked well. The sample at the beginning was a bit too long. Okay. So what that means is we have one more, and we'll see who just took it during this lightning round. And then we'll kind of get to our last part of the show here, the last half of things. So here we go with WOKEEN. Let's check this out. I think that's what we got from this one. WOKEEN, interesting, also different. This was the last one in our lightning round. I love the bluesy and soulful sample. Great funky classic sounding hip hop drums. I like that. Very funky drummer, but not. I don't think. The pitch change halfway through was really interesting. You had a little transition, and then you totally changed the pitch of the song, made it more high pitch. That's interesting. I need to process how I feel. It was very attention grabbing. My first impression was I kind of enjoyed the first half before the pitch change after the transition, but maybe I got to hear it again. The higher pitch you go, the more chipmunky it gets, and often the more catchy it gets. This is what Kanye taught the world. But changing the pitch did sound cool. So, okay. Let's see what we got in the chat, and we'll conclude our winner. Colin with a 3, which is overall a win. This might be more hit or miss for certain people, I think. Scripps says 4, which is very strong, 4 out of 5. Nice drums, cool vocal sample, like that open hat. There's been a couple of tracks with open hats, and they've been very successful. Sound very naturalistic, and they go. So, okay, other people liking the drums less. So a little, kind of interesting. Maybe that's the layer that's kind of divisive for some people. Dennis hitting it with a 3. I like the groove, but the sample felt a bit too low-pitched. Interesting. Maybe that was before the second half. INVZKID, on the other hand, head won't stop bobbing. That's kind of how I felt. It's funky. Jeliii hitting it with a 5. Kind of like a Blue in Exile type beat. Okay, yeah, I can hear that. Weaves in and out of the middle of spacing, which is nice. Okay, wow, very good point on the people who can actually hear that kind of frequency and how evenly distributed and dynamic those are. So interesting. Okay, very interesting. So what do I have on a brief? Someone hit it with the INVZKID with the 4.98. You could round that up. Man. got .02 off from a perfect score from INVZ. Okay, I do think that was very interesting because we had the most widest range of scores. It might be more hit or miss, either like 3s or 5s for that one. So that doesn't create the highest average. The winner would therefore be our boy T.Castles. Well done. Well done. Well done, sir. Randomly playing the end of your track here. You won an award that has yet to be figured out or determined, but you won. So, you know, annoy me in the chat and we'll figure out if this is worth doing ever again. Normally we do just completed tracks and give feedback on completed tracks, so it's very unusual to do a whole show on beats. But well done, T.Castles, you win the lightning round. All right, man, so we're gonna just keep this going, y'all. And here we go with an interesting one from who do we have up here next? cloudedcameron. Time for one more beer. Difficult to classify, am I wrong? There's some things I really love about it, and then there's some other things that I'm undetermined about, and it's different, and that's not bad, but you know, sometimes if you don't do different right, it's not good. So that's interesting. Let's see what we say. Earl's sweatshirt vibes. Okay, yeah, his voice might kill that. That might see some of these beats. Think about some of the weirder songs that you love. If you only heard the beat and didn't have the rapper on it, you might not love it, right? So you have to keep in mind it's an incomplete work. So maybe this is actually the perfect song. Once you hear lyrics on it, you're like, oh, it was genius. I don't know. Let's see what else we got. Really liking the vinyl noise, says Scripps. Glitchiness sounds great too. 3.8 on the vocal sample. Pretty high, basically a 4. We can round that up to a 4. Let's see. What else do we have on this? Jeliii. There might be too many kicks. All right, yeah, so there are. I like how there were infrequent kicks, but they were kind of like paired up in very, unique ways. I did kind of like that in a lot of ways, but that might sound busy or not great for others. And Jeliii doesn't like the crackle as much, but still a solid 4. So I'm basically still loving it. Yeah. and a 3.5 from INVZKID. So, this is definitely one of those ones that's all over the place from you guys. Definitely not an immediate rave review, but interesting. And I would agree with what I've been hearing on that. Like, I could hear like a J. Cole maybe, or a Big Crit or Currency maybe, Isaiah Rashad maybe over this. And I do believe it would sound better with the right vocals. And I think it would make it kind of come to fruition a bit better. But as it stands, it still kind of has that cool, lo-fi feel. The beat didn't drop for a minute. Like, I was walking around and the beat didn't drop for like at least like a minute and a half or something. But once I got back, the 808 sounded really nice. It has kind of like the vocal sample, this kind of eerie vocal vibe. I think it sets the tone very well, and I actually really like that. I think I'm on the side of enjoying that weird angle. So that's very cool, and the percussion, I think I liked it. I like the originality behind it, but I can see how some might think it's busy. Melody seemed good and screwed up and cool and dreamy and hypnotic to me. There was a lot of negative space in there, which is kind of what I'm pointing out. It's attractive to songwriters, and it could be a bonus. And, the arrangements were medium, but it was pretty creative. It was a creative beat. So I think that's about right. Okay, let's do it moving, y'all. So here we go. We got Wave 6. What's wavy? Are you from Canada? Are you a Canadian? A lot of Canadian things happening here. Over this, who could rap on this or harmonize other than Drake and The Weeknd? Recognize this guitar though. You don't recognize that guitar. Foolish. That was a very cool Nirvana sample mixed in at the end there during this transition. And you can see in the waveform, I'm not playing the second half, partially because I'm way behind. I got to catch up with these beats. But circle back to Wave 6, especially if you're liking this. Hit the link in the chat. And spread some love and some comments if you're feeling it. And check out the second half, because I have a feeling it might be interesting and different. Anyways, so yeah, the primary keyboard melody is super catchy and well mixed. I love the vocal sample and how much space you surround it with. Very impressive. Really cool use of the Nirvana sample during the transition. So yeah, let's see. Percussion, very well done. It's not all about the percussion on this. It's more of a supportive role. It's very clean. Melody was great. That's what it is more about. Negative space was off the hook, so any artist could add to this and it would sound great. You can still take this in many different directions, but the tone is set so well by the marriage between the percussion and the melody. The beat structure is fine. It's good. And creativity might be like medium for something that is popular, but it's pretty great and smooth. So I'm enjoying that a lot. Let's see if I can get through it. So also, okay, we have Dennis here. He's been giving a lot of great feedback, some of the best of the show. Coming out of the 6, Wave 6, Toronto. Makes sense. Question for you: would you be open to collaborations? Would you be interested in anyone sending you a demo so you could decide if it's worthy? Let us know if so. So yeah, okay. Alex saying this was raw. What else we got? People enjoying my beer opening. Yeah, I heard that moment. I was like, oh, this is gonna happen. It worked out quite well. Some whiz or some currency might sound great over this. Okay. Yeah, I think people are liking this. You're getting a pretty great. No one dropped a 1 to 5 stars on this, but maybe because they were just so hypnotized on it. That's very interesting. But I think that was working very well for you. And just in case you guys are down for any kind of collaboration, I'll just drop the Discord, or you can just drop your social. Please, just since you're here, drop your favorite social so people can follow you and show some love for your great beat. Okay, let's make sure we spread that love. So well done, man. At least to our knowledge, we have maybe some European people up in here, but international, what's up? Let's get it. Who's gonna win the championship this year? Not Toronto. Let's see. We'll see. All right, next up, we got 2W. Shout out to 2W. Who would you hear on this is an interesting question because it is unique. Great visuals. I want to say, I don't know if y'all was paying attention, the smoke was like coming through his mouth and there were like stars shooting. Probably by far the coolest visuals I think we've had, especially for a beat. That matters. Okay, so there is something that has nothing to do with the music per se, but as far as being an artist and selling your brand and bringing people back to your music, that matters. So I want to shout that out. It's a super trippy beat, super spacey. X-Files kind of beam me up Scotty type beat, huh? Certainly very unique and pretty impressive to me. So what do we see? What do we see people saying? Jeliii saying very grimy, spaced out. Okay, just right, solid 4. That's great. Out of a 5-star system. That's fantastic. Script saying feels like it needs harder 808s. Okay, interesting. Maybe I need to listen to that with the mix. This is a very kind of empty beat and spacey beat, and that means that low end needs to be there and done right. So that's something that I would like to listen back to. Colin and T.Castles hitting it with a solid 3, which is overall a win. Script saying maybe add more variation with the hi-hats. Interesting. It's not super rattlesnake trappy. I kind of like how spaced out it is. I like how much space it adds for the rapper or the vocalist, and I think that might also sound better and elevated with vocals on there, but that's interesting. Nice and dark, but in and of itself might not be enough to keep people engaged for some people. But this would be the question is like what happens when a vocal gets added to it. So maybe not designed to be a standalone instrumental. INVZKID saying not too familiar with this kind of sound, but loved it. The reverse sample is really dope and the anchor to this beat, and I agree. And I think it's very well done in that way. So very interesting. At the very least, it's something very different, and you win on visuals. I'm not sure anyone after you has done better than that. So well done to W. All right, cool. So next, here's a name you guys might recognize. This is Warna Beats, one of the more busy producers on making hip hop on the Reddit. So, you know, let's see what this round sounds like. Also got the reverse sample, it sounds like, right? Similar to the last artist. Also similarly incomplete on purpose, I would say. So that might not make it sound as great as a standalone instrumental. I wonder if this is going more for an R&B vibe with the slow tempo. Little hypnotic and kind of interesting melodies there. The percussion is playing second fiddle. So the question is, do you think that's wise and that works and that's good for allowing vocalists later? Or are there some missed opportunities and objective flaws with some of the percussion? Like, you know, at a certain point, how often have you heard certain kind of drum patterns and presets, and do you want something more or different, or is it a good blend and a good marriage between the harmony? So T.Castles saying, you know, I'd love some cool hi-hat movement during some of that to get him through. Script saying nice mixing, nice kicks and drums, overall a 4.2, which is very high. It would be easy to sell. You know, Warner is very active, man. I have a feeling you understand what moves units, you know what I mean? So, like, I do think there's a lot of people who would easily grab this up, and it would be a very good add to a number of different style artists and albums. So it's very versatile as a track. People enjoying the reverse melody, which the last track had too, but it's very on display here. Alex saying it goes well with the drums. You can hear that deep voice Travis Scott kind of effect on it. Yeah, I can hear that too. That would sound good. Jeliii saying very dark and emotional. Seems a bit stagnant with the instrumentation from his subjective point of view. But still a solid 3 and a 3.5 coming in from INVZKID. So well done overall, Warna Beats. Always very consistent. So very good there. You know, let's see if there's anything else to say. You know, a lot of these reverse beats are kind of popular. I could hear some like TDE artists on this style, like Q-Boy, Schoolboy Q, or Kendrick, or J-Rock, or even Absol. And I'm curious, is this just played by playing any melody backwards, guys? Because I'm not a very great producer compared to many of you. And is that like mostly a guitar sample or a keyboard that's being run backwards? I'm always interested because it's becoming a very popular kind of sound, almost its own subgenre of trap, so to speak. Interesting. Is there a name for that kind of a style, or is it just playing a reverse sample? Good negative space on this. I do have to say, Warna Beats often understands negative space very well, and so if there's anything to highlight, that's definitely one of the main things, is leaving a lot of space for the vocalist, and we've given accolades to Warna Beats on that in the past on this show, and it's holding up here. And I felt like the drums were pretty dynamic and interesting. The different layers did a good job of dropping in and out. So, yeah. Okay. Metro Boomin style. So here we go. Maybe some of that backwards is strings. Okay, like, you know, different string instruments. That would make sense from these reversed beats that have maybe some strings in them. That's interesting. It didn't sound just like a guitar from me, so I agree. Here we go with Trailblazer beats. A little more energy. That's what I need right now. Busted out for saying cool boy skew. Goddamn. I'm sorry, man. I'm from the West Coast too. That's like an abomination of a pronunciation. Forgive me, bass Q. I support you. That's what happens when you've been drinking, man. I like that. Is it a xylophone layer? All right, very catchy. I needed that energy. Solid trap drums, at least 2 different layers of catchy melodies, which I really liked. That's what separates this from many other like kind of simple, basic trap beats. I would say the percussion is solid. The melody was pretty strong. Negative space was not really important here. Beat structure was solid to low. Creativity was solid to low, but you know, it does maybe have that mass appeal bonus category. So I think that counts. So yeah, I thought it was pretty solid overall. Hard to find a flaw maybe. Dennis saying it's good to, let's see, some Pop Smoke vibes. The 808s maybe throw in a little bit more of the upper register. Yeah, 4, a 5 from Jeliii. Nice bass line from Alex. Another 4 from INVZKID. Wants a little bit more from that vocal sample because it was a good sample, and it does sound contemporary and modern. Colin and I agree with that. So Brockhampton vibes for sure. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones. Beats can try to be niche and different and try to hit a home run in a way that no one else can do and stand out, or they can be kind of just very central and something that everyone loves. And so, like, this is another one of those beats that's like, you know, there's nothing wrong here. The vocalist comes up with a catchy hook. This is a win. This is a home run. So very good. You know, shout out to you, Trailblazer Beats, with that yellow beamer. All right, so what's up next? We got Zari Beats. I don't know if you're here right now. Let's see what Zari Beats talking about. interesting one, huh? There's a lot going on. I was curious what that main sample was. Is that like a Mandalorian? Oh, damn. A mandolin being played by the Mandalorian? We got it. Okay, dzairbeats. Man, who would you hear on this? Interesting question. Great sample with the mandolin played by the Mandalorian. If that's what that is, I can tell it's not like a guitar, but I was curious that this instrument is becoming more popular. I believe some of the tracks on here before have had it. If that's what that is, that would be very cool to know. I think the percussion is built around the sample kind of pretty well and drops in and out and keeps the listener pretty well engaged. Nice bass, nice extra layer for the melody. You know, when the keyboard flute kind of drops in during the hook, that extra layer of melody is something that not enough producers add. They kind of stop often when they have enough from the main sample. So that was needed. That extra layer is needed on the MIDI or whatever you're using. So that was, you know, that's kind of what made it for me. If you didn't have that layer and just stuck with the mandolin sample at the beginning, I'm not sure it's enough. And a good rule of thumb in general is for a beat to have at least 3 melodic layers. It doesn't have to. You can get away with 2, and it depends on the beat, but you want to have like a primary thing, a supplemental thing, and then maybe like a secondary primary thing that's more in the background, and that creates a good synergy of melody. If you start thinking about how many beats and songs have different layers and counting them, you'll notice, start counting the melody of the beat, and you'll hear some interesting things. A lot of trap and funky songs don't do that, and that's fine, but this is going for melody, and so that's something to point out. And that was done here, the 3 different layers. So very good. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah. So, okay. Oh, Jeliii is saying it sounds like a Tekashi 6ix9ine beat. Dennis saying, you know, nice with the sample. And the 808 felt a bit cloudy. Could be more clean. Maybe doing some mono in the bass register under the 120 hertz. Also, the hi-hats could be more dynamic and bright to stand out. So it's very good feedback on the mixing, guys. People liking the bass. And then people clowning on me for getting my words mixed up. Fuck you. Fuck you guys. You know? That's what I have to say. I'm trying to do something different, and I haven't had a lot to eat today. So I'm drinking fairly heavily, but I'm in there. We're in there. All right, guys. Let's keep it moving. So let's see what we got up here next. We got Boogs, baby.
I do love you.
So I think we got enough from that tight sample. It's the energy I needed. Well done. Who do you hear on that? It has to have some sort of Chipmunk Kanye type vibes. Very great classic hip hop bounce to this one. So I appreciate that. And to be fair, I believe you might want to look this up if you're enjoying this and check out the second half of the track, because in the last 40 seconds, I do think there's a very cool switch. I'm still trying to catch up here. So, you know, percussion was solid and swing filled, created a good bounce. The melody was very good from the sample. Not a lot of negative space in this one. Decent structure and arrangement, and, you know, pretty creative. I don't know. It depends if you feel like this Kanye kind of sound is refreshing or dated. That would depend how you kind of say the overall kind of creativity level is. You know, is this something we need more of, or is it in the past? Jeliii says 5 stars, Cooking Soul beat. Yeah, we're hearing definitely some people hear some Kanye action. Scripts hitting it with the 5, and a 4 from INVZKID, and a 3.5 from Colin. But it is a fun beat, so it kind of depends on how you would kind of, as a vocalist, go over the top of this. And so, you know, that's interesting. So I don't think you're here now, but thanks for that, Boogs baby. You know, for any of you producers, continue to drop your socials when your song comes up and let us know when you're here. And let us know if you want to collaborate with any of these things, you know, or hit us up on the Discord that we got going, organized by that guy Jeliii. There's the link there. Okay, so let's hop into Bishop Tectonic. Let's see what's going on here. Really nice. Also kind of has those Kanye vibes. You can see like the sequence, but everyone's kind of taking that in a different direction. So that's very interesting. You know, what a great sample, right? Like when we're talking about the art of digging for samples and finding great samples and flipping samples that not everyone has heard. This was a fantastic job. Very hip hop of you, Bishop Tectonic. Those string plucks are everything to me. Those wop, 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 whoop, that was amazing. What are those orchestral strings? Those are great. They sound really awesome. So that's awesome. They complement the walking bass line quite well. So that's another featured layer, is this walking bass line really sets the tone. Very fucking impressive, if you ask me, overall. The percussion was great. The melody was incredible. Lots of negative space for people to take this in different directions. Beat structure was solid, and you know, medium creativity, because it's not nothing brand new, but it was pretty great, and I think people are liking it in the chat. Yeah, Colin saying it's fire. 4.5 out of Scripts and INVZKID. Great flip with the nice stutters to the chop. Jeliii saying this has a chilling with my girl, cuddling with some TV and sandwiches vibe. Yeah, man. So, you know, this is, you know, music evokes emotion, and this is working for people. So well done, man. Shout out to you, Bishop Tectonic. Next up, you guys should like this one too, from Damn BENJI. Damn BENJI. Interesting. Colin saying, feels like an interlude. Could be. It kind of definitely depends on how you handle the vocals on this one as well. Hard to hear who I would like immediately hear over it outside of maybe some singers. So it also could be maybe more of an R&B style thing. I do love the walking bass line. I thought that was very good. Similar to the last track as well. Fantastic use of negative space. Again, you don't always need that, but these songs are showcasing how that is working and can work. So that bass line kind of makes everything work for me and ties everything together. So a head scratcher for me is the strings at the end. I'm not sure, did that work for you is my question. It creates more of an epic kind of traditional formulaic kind of thing to do with the string, bring in some strings, but I don't think it was my favorite move. I'd have to hear that again. Maybe it was how it was mixed. A question I would have is there any live instrumentation used in this, or was it all MIDI? It's always interesting to talk to the producer about how things are mixed together. It does have mostly that live instrument feel, so that's cool. Even though it's certainly possible to just do this all with MIDI. Let's see what we say. Dennis, nice, very chill. Like the plucked bass. Maybe Tyler, the Creator, could be on that. I could hear that for sure. Dennis talking about maybe adding a little low end with the 808, filling the bottom space a bit more. Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong. Anderson .Paak, whoa, that actually might be one of those ones where you suddenly add an artist like that and it becomes a super great, fantastic, perfect thing. So. And it always depends. So that's interesting. Well, cool. Let's see. We definitely are getting there. And, appreciate all y'all for being here. And I'm sure people will come at the end to check things out. We're in our last little push. So I'll take my last little 90-second breather. Create a little more energy here before we get back to some funky shit. And I think this is a remake of Kill Jill, actually. It's interesting when people learn what it takes to make a beat. And this is a re-engineered from scratch and from sample version of Kill Jill. Sounds pretty similar. Good, pretty interesting track. Good flip on that sample and great bass line. If y'all haven't heard the original, definitely check out Kill Jill. It has Big Boy and Killer Mike on it. So next up, let's jump back into things. We have a track by Kaytoo, Topic, with Nectar. think we got that one. The question is, who could you hear over that? It's very jazzy and funky, R&B kind of style. You could also, it has that boom bap element as well, so you could hear like a Tribe Called Quest or very smooth traditional hip hop flow over that. A very nice vocal sample for the hook that really adds to everything. Reminds me almost of like some People Under the Stairs. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with them. Very good percussion, strong melody from the sample. Use of negative space was not great, but it's, you know, it's fine. Doesn't need it. Beat structure was good. Creativity was medium to low, but it's, you know, it's because we've heard jazzy, funky things before. It's not a bad thing. So yeah, I think this one is pretty solid. That horn sample, I'm a sucker for horns as well. So, you know, that gets, you know, people like us, that gets us going. INVZKID is liking it. Dennis says good vibe with the sax melody. The middle felt a bit cluttered, maybe because of like the traditional hip hop sample. He's suggesting to add some reverb on the drums, but otherwise a nice vibe. Yeah, I think it was a very effective kind of beat. So shout out to Kaytoo. That worked very good, man. Appreciate that. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, let's move on to scripts. Here we go, scripts.
Our insight here, you know, you get an insight and you know
Cool artwork.
something, you know, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and he'll spoil the whole thing for you, you know. But when somebody makes you say it,
Snippet at the beginning.
then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
Might be the vibe, huh? Drop your 1 to 5 on this. 5 stars meaning you would download it, share it with a friend. Script's been here all night. Give him some feedback, y'all. Effect on kind of like the muted drums and bass. That worked well. Okay. Yeah, who do you hear on that? That's a good question. So super dope chill beat with great kicks. Really nice work with the keys there. That sets a very good tone. Lots of subtle but dynamic, like melodic layers, I feel like. They sound very cohesive though, and I love the vocal sample you used to punctuate the beat at times. That was needed. That extra element was very needed, and it was great. Very successful. And I think it'll stand out as another one of those beats where vocals were added, the beat gets elevated and maximized as well. I think this is kind of, you know, perfectly incomplete for a reason as well. I think it'll sound really good when you get some vocals on it, if you choose to do so. Let's see how people are saying in the chat. Okay, Colin hitting it with a 5. That's a perfect rating. Dennis, nice. The synth in the beginning were sampled worked very well. VizKid saying those are some wavy chords. Yeah, that's what I was feeling. Very nice. Series of 4s from Jeliii and INVZKID and Dennis. Definitely sounds like people would download or add it to a chill playlist, a study list, a list to relax and unwind and get some stress off and maybe blow a little something. Yeah, Dennis saying could see Trippy or, you know, X over this. Maybe some 808s. J. Cole or Kendrick. Yeah, I think it could go a lot of different ways as well. I think it has a lot of opportunity there. So Scripps, thanks for being here, especially for the long haul. And you have a very dope beat, man. Very awesome. One of the things I guess we would want to ask is, would you be open to collaborations? So if so, let people know in the chat. If people are feeling this, they can send you a demo. You can see if it's the vibe you're looking for. So good opportunity here, guys. Very good producer. We have some very excellent producers for our last few tracks. So here we go. I want to kind of throw something else at you. What do y'all know about like some R&B, neo soul? Let's hear something different, and then we'll get back to something more expected and some more energy in a moment. Shout out to Lighthouse City. Looks like this beat is free and available. Scripps, drop your socials. Drop your socials on here. Changed though, huh? Came out of nowhere. Very unique, one of the more unique tracks, and it was enough before like the hook takes it to a different area and it makes a full change, and adding that in makes it a very different song and very interesting song. Yeah, I was having a hard time thinking about who could sound good on this as well. It does remind me of some older like neo soul style, maybe like, you know, some of the OGs like Common or The Roots, maybe, you know, even like D'Angelo. I don't know, that you can take that at a lot of different places. It's another great bass line on display here. And as the beat progresses, there's more bounce and swing than in the initial layer. At first it seemed like a simpler sample. It kind of lulls you into that, and then it gets much more layered and complex and builds further as it goes along, as it progresses. So I would say it's awesome song structure, you'd have to say, right? Really attractive to a songwriter in theory, if they can match that vibe. The change for the hook was incredible. I do like it. Totally changed the tone of the track, and brought it right back afterwards to the original sample for the next verse 2. I loved it. It was super impressive. So the percussion was solid. The melody was great. The use of negative space was fine on this one. Beat structure was incredible. Creativity was medium until the hook, and then became quite high. That's how I feel on that one. You know, almost giving me like some J Dilla vibes. You know, if you know, not sure you're on here, but Lighthouse City, man. If you haven't already, continue to study J Dilla and incorporate some of those drumming techniques. I think you have a lot of the of that style encapsulated here, but you know, you can innovate and continue to grow some of that innovative drumming that Dilla is so well known for. If you'd like, you don't have to. It was fine and clean sounding as it was. But there's a lot of potential here. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Jelii's hitting it with a 5. Looks like we have a good amount of feedback on this one. That's very cool. Joey Badass could be heard over this. I could hear that. Dennis liking the jazzy tune, the electric piano used. Yep. Loving that. Yeah, that beat threw everyone for a loop. It does sound like a commercial track. Alex saying for like a medicine, like he could hear this in a commercial. That's hilarious. Interesting. Everyone's hearing something different. It is a kind of a calm, it does evoke an emotion and create kind of a feeling to it. So, you know, interesting. Some people are having difficulty hearing who could sound good on this. Nice, you know, INVZKID shouting out, great sidechain effect. So, great, man. And Dennis signing off. Good to see you, bro. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you for everything and for having, you know, dope feedback and dope tracks as well. And we're on the home stretch. I know it's late. Normally we would have ended by now. But looks like we have another 5 songs or so. So whoever's here, if they're really trying to continue to vibe out, burn one, smoke one, this is a great track for that. Get a load of this one by On God, bruh. Very cool, very different, very unique. On God, bruh. I really love that track. Jacaranda. It'd be interesting to hear about the collaboration process that went forward and how much like the sampling of your friend went into that beat. You could hear some of the distorted vocals and stuff. Very cool. So definitely into that. And jacarandas are cool purple trees from like Los Angeles, and they have some here in Brisbane as well. Very, very cool. So might win the most original beat of the night award. I'm feeling. I mean, for real. Tell me how many beats you heard like that. Kind of reminds me of some J Dilla also, or like even some Jai Paul. I don't know if you guys listen to Jai Paul. Could Jay Electronica rap on that? That might be super interesting. But, you know, I don't know. You can just tell so much attention and polish has gone into this. I really appreciate it. So many cool details and mixing techniques used here. Definitely worth running this back, in my opinion, and listening close. Maybe when you're, some songs sound even better when you're a bit lit or drunk. I wouldn't know anything about that. It makes me wonder if you don't even need a vocalist added to this. Like, it might just be a perfect standalone beat. It might just be like its own instrumental. There's so much going on. You could also go R&B with this one. I would say this is impressive as fuck to me overall. I really like it. Percussion, it was great. It was innovative. It was solid. It had great bounce to it. The melody was awesome. The use of negative space, well, this one's not about that. It's busy, but that's good. Beat structure was incredible, and creativity was about as high as the sky. This one might win the creativity award, like I mentioned. So very cool. You know, drop the link so you guys can spread some love and check that out. Alex saying I could see you writing and smoking one to that, putting one up in the air. It's cool. So definitely on some different stuff. Very cool, man. So thank you for all you guys who are still here and who are waiting for your track, if you had to wait this long. Also, drop your social, you know, as your track comes up, and let us know if you're down to collaborate, man. If any of you guys want to collaborate on this one or other tracks, drop something in the chat. I'll add the Discord link one more time. And in the meantime, here's the Velociraptor with Dream Good. Over this one, y'all. Who takes this one to the next level? Who elevates the game? Man, when you chop it up like that, that's really a doozy. And that synth right there, huh? to stop that because I feel like I could listen to it forever. And we're trying to be fair and get to these last few beats. I did save some of the best for last, in case you couldn't tell. Shout out to Rapper. Man, getting Jurassic out here. Yeah, Alex, shouting you out with the awesome chops. For sure. Wave City. Is that, I don't know, is that Chicago? Where's that? Give me an idea where that picture is. I'm ignorant. INVZKID saying it's tight. Jeliii hitting it with the solid 5. Yeah, man. Like strong 5, right? Like not even a question mark 5. INVZKID with the 4. We could hear J. Cole rapping over this. INVZKID loves the gate. Colin saying it's the sidechain plugin. Okay. Nicky Romero. Okay. Man. I think you got some good game on this one, man. So, it's so well done. And, super chill, super great jam. Really, really nice drums. That's what stood out to me. It's like a perfect snare, and I have some like live drum breakdown feeling to it. The way the whole sample is played at first, and then you go into the super rapid chop of the sample after that progression, and not just sticking with the rapid chop the whole time, creating contrast by bringing it in and out. So great. And when you first hear it, it definitely perks up the ears and gets your attention. The melodic synth you add for the hook was just the extra perfect layer. Again, you want those 3 layers of melody if you can, and so that was just begging for that, and it was so great. It shows what I'm talking about when I'm talking about that. So you hit the nail on the head with that one. Percussion was great, melody was great, the beat structure was great. It was creative. There's moments of negative space. It's catchy. I think it has a pretty strong mass appeal. I think a lot of different artists could rap on it. Lupe, INVZKID, yeah, you could rap on that too. All right, Jeliii, head out of here, bro. We're almost done, man. Any of y'all can catch the last of these later on as well, and we'll just try to, spread some love and do it moving. So well done, Velociraptor. You killing it, fam. I do want to clown on you for your art resolution. You can make that resolution a little bit better. That's an art alert, art emergency. You could clean up that resolution, man. Even just like a blue square might be better. People might get turned off. Don't give me an excuse to turn off your great music, man. Sometimes listeners are finicky, and as great as that beat is, match it. At least match it with those visuals. That's the only thing I can clown on you, because that beat was otherwise perfect, fam. So well done. Would you be open to collaborate? Okay? I'd be remiss if I do not say. If you would like people to send you a demo, or I dropped the server link for the Discord a few moments earlier in the chat, let people know. Do you want to hear? You want to complete this beat, or is it good enough? Let people know if you want to kind of finish that off, man. Velociraptor. All right. Next up. You guys might feel some kind of way about this one. I certainly did. Claus was here earlier. Probably didn't make it this late. But here we go. Shout out to Claus, man. Thanks for showing up early. Hope you get into this tomorrow or the next day with lots of love. Drop your 1 to 5 on this one, too. It's a little on a different tip. Hip-hop is a question. I mean, this is first and foremost a hip-hop show. We've done different genres. We've done R&B and various things. Is this EDM? Is this R&B? Is this hip-hop? What is this? Okay, man. Shout out to Claus, man. Thanks for being here earlier. I think this is very impressive to me, the way you've done this. It puts me in that funky, like, Stankonia kind of mind frame from my Outcast feelings. Little Dragon kind of like type space as well. It definitely could see some crossover in like the EDM or R&B side of things. Great keyboard chords. It set the summertime vibe, right? That picture is perfect. It feels like that picture. The bass line really adds to the energy of this. I really love that. It sets the tone. This would be hard to rap on for a lot of people, actually, but the right flow could make this amazing. Big Boy could rap on this, right, from Outkast. You could also, go R&B. I would say the percussion was great. The melody was very high. The use of negative space is pretty high, which is cool. The beat structure and arrangement was solid, and creativity was solid to high. So that's how I feel about it. There might be room if there was anything you could add if you needed to, and this might come after a vocalist. You could do a dope horn arrangement. Earlier in the show, we had a lot of cool horn arrangements. You could add a very cool horn arrangement. It wouldn't interfere with any of the other frequencies. I think it might work very well towards the end of the track if you didn't want to use it earlier. Man, that's begging for like a horn ensemble like hook. Spodio Doppelicious style. But, no extra layers are needed, right? That's subjective. It's totally fine the way it is. So let's see what else we got here. People in the chat. Yeah. Fun bounce. I think it's capturing the emotion that you're going for quite well. People also saying it could have like a poppy EDM twist if you so desire. INVZKID is talking about, Big Fish Theory, kind of Vince Staples kind of vibe. Yeah, I could hear that for sure. So, it even has like a disco type kind of feel. So it definitely offers a lot. So shout out to you, Claus, man. Thank you for that. That was a great track with some energy. Last three. So here goes Pistol Pete. Great art. Some of the strongest art we've had. We're getting to some energy to end the show. Last show is a little energy.
I'm kind of weird. And not even weird, though, You just different. I fuck with it though.
So that one doesn't really change too much more. Who could you hear on this is a question. Maybe some A$AP Rocky. Maybe even some like old school legends with some Snoop or Rick Ross. Possibly. Pretty catchy beat. Good percussion. Good melody. Beat structure is low, but that's fine. Creativity is medium. It's fine. I think it's very catchy. I think it could also go a lot of different ways depending on the rapper. So I think that's a real strong one. Definitely need a little bit of energy there, so I appreciate that. Pistol Pete, shout out to you, bro. Finishing strong here. Who we got next? Apasol. It's on a previous episode. Let's hear what we got. I believe out of the UK, if I'm not mistaken, Apasol. shout out to Applesol, man. You know, nice melodies for a trap beat. Bass and percussion support the sample well and are overall well balanced. Very fun, playful energy during the hook. Then you strip down many of the layers for the verse. I think that's a good move. It becomes quite hard-hitting, actually. Definite tone change there, and allows for a vocalist to take it in many different directions. Lots of different ways you could take this as a songwriter, which is a win. So, you know, solid percussion, solid melody. Beat structure was solid. Creativity was low, but it's fine. That could be a good song overall. So just trying to squeeze in the last few, and then we're on our last track, y'all. I think we're about done. Try to probably squeeze in a little bit more than we should have, but try to get to everybody. Let's see what we got with our final track, Songs in D minor. Cheers, y'all. We made it. Yeah, looking at the album cover. He ain't getting that UV because he got the umbrella. It's still lit. Oh. Great layers. It's like 3 different samples. Songs in D minor. Great, man. Great track. Great way to end the show. I love it. I think it's very impressive. Another kind of cool, almost like Astro World feeling track, I feel like. Tons of layers in this, but everything sounded like it coalesced and sounded cohesive. That's a win. Cool inverted melodies and like backward samples like we heard a couple times earlier in the show, but it meshes very well with the kind of subtle guitar layer you mix in there. It's like, you almost like, oh, that's adding too many layers, but it really does complement things very well and make it cohesive. That's what tied it together. I could hear TDE artists on this. I could hear like Travis Scott on this. I could even hear like a Tech 9 on this. So that's a win. You know, percussion was, I think, really good. Melody was great. Beat structure was good. Creativity was high. So that's a win for me. And an amazing way to end the show. So thank you guys. I'm ready to call it a day. I think it's our longest show. Never did a show with all beats, so tried to put on as many people as we could. Again, this is that Making Hip Hop community. We have links in here with links to our Discord. They have their Discord on there as well. So, you know, link up on both of those. Everyone on here has pretty much coming from that community, and everyone on here deserves more listens. You know, it's an honor to review your music. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. You can continue to send submissions to my email if you want to, rapfredrogers@gmail.com. You can hit me up on Twitter @rapfredrogers. We have a few recent kind of little snippet videos of advice and feedback for producers about, you know, perfectly incomplete beats and why that can be a good thing, as well as generic drums and why that can be a bad thing. So check that out. There's some interesting stuff there. Let us know if we should do this again or should we return back to our normal format of completed tracks, because that's normally what I'm best at giving advice for. And Personally, I've been finishing an album where I've been paying homage and playing with different classic hip-hop styles. It's been very fun, keeps you very sharp as an artist. So I'll leave you with one of those to ride out to, and catch y'all next time, man. For real, for real. All right, so here we go. This is past tense. Peace and love, y'all.
I'm a heat man, never pretend. Looking for a match, then you breathe in. Looking like a king, like I'm Steven. Defend with the sack or the prevent. From the deep end to the lowlands. Lizzie Lohan, Lisa Left Eye. Counting 4 L's, kill the romance. Miller 4 L's, kill a nomad. Every 4 scores, settle scores. My controls back. Night to dawn rap, where my don's at. Settle contracts, up your contacts. Killer cons back like the bomb black. Land a palm slap, Mortal Kombat. Drawback, be the checkmate to your pawn trap. Ivory and onyx, I'm super on it. Running circles round the comp, yeah, I'm supersonic. Switch the context, never know but always keep it honest. Coming to you straight from orthodontist. Ba-da-da, put you in the past tense. Yeah, put you in the past tense. Leave you in the past tense. Introduce you to the past tense. Ba-da-da, put you in the past tense. Yeah, put you in the past tense. Leave you in the past tense. Introduce you to the past tense. Past tense needs no introduction. I bring my presence to the future, time to fit the function. Thumbtack to a photo, get the picture punctured. Don't need much hindsight to get a vision of it. Take your hand off your piece, fate is interrupted. Spirit of it, punctuate the comment, make a dash on the middle of it. Aquatic lungs if you just hearing of it. A chameleon can adapt for the appearance of it. Surface to the sand, bring the coast to the land. I stand resurrected like the ghost of your man. You stand so corrected, getting roasted and ran. Motherfuckers need direction like a poster, a plan. Don't be toasting my hand when I'm alone with the fam. While we orchestrate the era like the Romans or Ramses. I light a blunt, get off the phone with the fancy. She going for the gold Olympic athlete. Ba-da-da, put you in the past tense. Yeah, put you in the past tense. Leave you in the past tense. Introduce you to the past tense. Ba-da-da, put you in the past tense. Yeah, put you in the past tense. Leave you in the past tense. Introduce you to the past tense.